Please, I can't sleep.
It's time to listen to Courtney at last on the Ramblings of an Insomniac podcast.
Hello, welcome to another episode of the Ramblings of an Insomniac. I am Courtney. How are ya? I am sitting in a parking lot in my car. Well, obviously in my car. I'm not just like sitting out in the middle of a parking lot. That'd be weird, just talking into my phone like a psycho. Although I don't think it's a whole lot better that I'm sitting in my car at a Tractor Supply, which I should never be allowed in any feed store or like home department, like any Home Depot, Coastal Farm, Tractor Supply, Wilco, any of those kind of things. They should have a picture of me that if I try to come in, they like tase me or something, or they like shoo me out because, oh my God, I love feed stores and like Home Depot type of stores. Love them, love them. I want to spend too much money. But I'm sitting in the parking lot of a Tractor Supply because I know that once I get home, I've got to feed my dogs and take my dogs out to go potty and do my whole end of the day routine. And then tomorrow I won't be able to do a podcast. And Tuesday I'm going to be pretty busy. And so I'm like, okay, if I go home, I'm never going to get the podcast done. And so before I go home, I'm going to sit here and do a podcast. So if it sounds weird, it's raining. It's pouring down rain. But it's because I'm sitting in a parking lot in my car like a weirdo. Anyway, hello. How are ya? Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for coming along on this crazy journey of mine, babbling about absolutely nothing, talking about things that are really not that important or things that you probably already know. I don't say anything that is, enlightened or, of really any intelligence. I don't say anything profound. If you're looking for like profound, enlightened kind of things, I'm pretty much the opposite. I feel like I babble, I ramble, hence ramblings of an insomniac, about so many different topics, sometimes a million topics in one podcast. I can go from talking about, relationships to politics to dogs all in one podcast. Or sometimes I ramble on and on about one topic forever, longer than I probably should. There are times I probably should have wrapped it up a lot sooner. So if you're tuning in for the very first time, and you're expecting HD, high quality, studio quality podcasting here, or like I said, enlightened stuff, this may not be your cup of tea. But if you're totally down with someone with, like ADHD and sleep deprived brain that jumps all over the place, well, then buckle up. I am it. I am that podcast. You found me. Woohoo! Whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop. Dance party, dance party, dance party. Whoop, superstar, superstar. Did anybody ever watch Saturday Night Live? Shannon, what's her name? Oh my God, with the big dimples. I love her. And she's like, superstar. That was back when SNL was awesome, when there was also Dana Carvey, what was his name? Dana, and he did the church lady, and Chop and Broccoli. Chop and Broccoli. It's just Chop and Broccoli. If you haven't seen the Chop and Broccoli or the Superstar or the church lady, or back when Eddie Murphy and Bill Murray and all of them were on Saturday Night Live, Steve Martin, back when it was funny, back when people still watch. I don't know how it's still on, honestly. But hey, everybody always likes back in my day, things were funny, Now they're kind of running out of things to write about. I feel like there are only so many love stories you can write. It's the same type of love stories, It's the whole meet cute thing, or the, My spouse treated me really bad. I got away, found my, groove back, or found a new man or woman, and now I'm, great and confident. Or there's the, like 50 First Dates, all the cute little meet cute rom-com type of love stories. And it's kind of all been done. I feel like, what else can you continue? Same with songs. I'm like, how on earth are more songs coming out? I don't know how many different combination of words you can put together to form lyrics that are different from any other song since the dawning of time. I mean, music has been out, songs have been out since forever. I don't know the exact date, but so if you're looking for a statistic, I don't have one, but I know it's been around for a long time. And I feel like there's only so many combinations of words you can put together that sound different from any other song, right? I don't know. It's amazing that people can still come up with different songs. And it's funny because a lot of people, like, there are songs that I like, not because the words are great, like the words aren't profound and cool and like different. I just like the beat. And then there's other times I really like the words, but I can't stand the beat. And I feel bad. I sound like a big mean asshole because songs that make everybody else super happy, I tend to hate, like the song Happy, because I'm happy, clap along if you, clap along something, something, cause I'm happy. Will Ferrell. No, not Will Ferrell. That's the actor. Phil, what is his name? Anyway, not a fan of that song. It makes me want to careen my car, do a Thelma and Louise off of a cliff. It drives me batshit crazy. I don't know why that song I feel like it says the same thing over and over and over again. I don't know. And again, I'm not a fan of like certain singers, like I talked last week. Like Mariah Carey, I feel like it's she just she's killing me softly with her runs, killing me softly with her runs, killing me softly. Bow, bow, bow. But she just does too many runs, But there's a lot of songs. Oh, and back when what was his name? Bobby McFerrin. The um oh my God, now I have the happy song tune stuck in my head. But don't worry, be happy. Don't worry, be happy now. Doo, doo. I liked that song, but for a very brief time because they played it 750,000 times. And there's only so many times you can hear a song before you're like, okay, I used to like this song. But then the radio like kills it. And I think that the radio's obligated or under a contract or something. I might be pulling this out of my ass. I don't know if this is a real statistic, but I feel like I heard that the radio has to play new songs a certain amount of times, but it should be less. Because what happens is there'll be a song that comes out and you like it. And at first you're like, yeah, I could hear this 100 times a day and it's great and that's cool. And you're just waiting for it to come on and you can't hear it enough. And, there's no such thing as too many times until all of a sudden it's too many times. Because I remember when Blake Shelton's song Minimum Wage came out, I started timing it. They played it every 20 minutes. I know because I have a job where I work 10 to 12 hours and I will have the radio on. And I started being like, wow, I heard this song, I swear, not long ago. And then I kept hearing it. So I started timing it every 20 freaking minutes. So again, I get like when a new song comes out, you want to hear it a lot. Like at first, you want to hear it every 20 minutes and you're like, woo, yeah, yeah. But then you're like, okay. And it's like one of those wind up toys that start out like really like wound up and then they slowly start fizzling. That's what I feel like. They just play songs entirely too many times, man. Anyway, so I don't even really know how I got on that topic other than to say that those songs drive me crazy. And yeah. What else? So I've decided, and again, I already did a podcast on this, that I am bat bananas crazy, I think. I am such a textbook, um, well, I feel like it's like turn to page 31, and you'll see my face and I'll be like, hi, there's me under, like, I tend to gravitate toward broken people, like toward people that are broken that I think that have potential, and that, it's like, oh, they could be a nice person. They just need someone to take a chance on them. They just need someone to be patient with them. They just need someone to chip away at those bad habits. They'll quit those bad habits. They'll stop doing those things. And, I'm a textbook freaking sucker for a broken person. And, um, I'm a textbook, come from a broken home. I like a broken home and just a crazy, addict home. I was not only a latchkey kid, but my parents drank all the time, and um, they were gone all the time. And I babysat myself and made my own dinners, and, made sure I got myself my homework done and all that crap. And then I am a textbook. I don't push my family away. My family, I'm probably psychotically helicopter mom to my kids, and I want them around me every second of every moment. I mean, as far as like, I don't mean they have to be at my house or near me, but I want them to be at least in the same state. I want to be able to hang out with them, see them. But with like friends and anybody outside of like my children and my grandkids, even my very best friends that I love more than anything in the world. And I would, if they killed someone and they called me, I'd be like, all right, I'm there. Don't tell anybody. We'll handle it. FBI, if you're listening, just kidding. But I'm a textbook person that pushes people away. I don't want to get close to people because I'm worried that they're either going to die on me the minute I get close to them. So I want to push them away before, they die and I cry, or they totally betray my trust in some way. Because everybody in my family, my grandparents, I was incredibly, incredibly close to my grandparents. They were my stability. They were the ones that I went to visit on Christmas break and spring break and summer, because they were my stability. They were my safety. They were my rock. They were people I could count on, that were there for me, that didn't, drink and have issues. So I went there all the time, from a kid all the way up until they died. And unfortunately, both of them died by the time I was 25. And my other grandma died before I was 25. And my real dad died on my 9th birthday, along with my dog. My dog and my real dad died on my 9th birthday, both. Dog got hit by a car, dad died. And um, it just got to be where I didn't want anybody close to me, because those that I trusted and that I loved died when I was young. And or I get together with stupid people that fuck me over, or my own relatives had really, really severely betrayed my trust in one way or another. So I just learned, especially when you're around addicts and stuff all the time, you can't count on them. You can't trust that they'll do what they say. And so I'm textbook, don't get close to people, push people away, come from broken home, like broken people. It's ridiculous. Like, you turn to page 31 for messed up person, and you're like, hey, there's me, there's my picture. And so it's weird, because when people do that, when they pick, that sounds like we're like doing someone a favor. When you get together with someone, or you're attracted to people that maybe aren't the healthiest, maybe not the safest, maybe not the healthiest people, and then you finally decide to end that relationship because it's not healthy, because it's not safe, um, it it doesn't mean that you don't love that person or you don't care for that person. And it usually catches the other person off guard. and they will try to do everything they can to make you feel like the worst human. And they may call you terrible, horrible, unforgivable names, and they may try to hurt you, and they may try to, stalk you or follow you or whatever to try to get you not to leave, because it's all about control and their ego. And they don't want to be the person that gets left, because that's an ego thing, that's a pride thing. And they are in control. They want to be in control. So, they want to be in control over who leaves and when. And God forbid you make the choice to leave them. No, no, no. So they will do everything in their power to try to convince you to not leave. And sometimes, they'll turn on the charm, and they'll put on their biggest smile and, do all the nice things to try to, get you to stay and be like, oh, look, but I'm so great. And then people fall for it again, and they are like, all right. And it's that cycle. But when you finally decide to break that cycle, it feels scary, but liberating. At least, speaking for myself with past relationships, but it doesn't mean you don't love that person or care about that person still. But it's really hard if the other person still wants to be together and is struggling, because you don't want to see them hurt. You don't want to see them struggling. Or sometimes you don't give a fuck, because maybe they were such pieces of shit that you're like, oh, boo-hoo, cry me a river. I don't care. Save your tears for someone that gives a crap, because you're not healthy and leaving you feels amazing. And I'm not looking back. Don't let the door, I'm not going to let the door hit me on the way out. I'm just going to keep moving forward, not turning around, not looking back. And, it's a whole Stella got her groove back thing. And then there's the flip side where it's healthy and it's safe and you feel good, but you're also kind of scared, because maybe you've been with that person for a long time, and maybe you have kids. And now you have to do the joint custody, or maybe you'll have full custody, or maybe they'll have custody. Who knows? Maybe you have dogs and you don't want to be away from your dogs. And so you're trying to figure out how you're going to see your dogs. Maybe you have both. It's hard, because one or both of you have to find a new place to live and maybe a new job. And like I said, if you have kids and or dogs or whatever, it just complicates things. And so when you make a decision to no longer be in a relationship, whether it's a mutual thing, maybe you both have decided that it's a good idea to be apart, or if it's one person, it's hard no matter who decided it. And it's hard even if it's mutual. But it's hard to see someone else be sad if you're not feeling sad, There's that guilt. Because I think people forget. It's always funny because people are like, oh, he's a piece of shit. And it's like, but you got together for a reason. And hopefully it's because you loved one another and you cared about one another at one point. And so it sucks when you don't have that anymore, even when it's the right thing. I don't know. Relationships are hard. And the older you get, some people learn a lot quicker. They learn at a younger age not to keep picking the same type of people over and over again. And then sometimes you are older and you're like, definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Well, at some point you got to go, what am I doing wrong? I don't know. I've always been a really long relationship kind of gal. Every relationship I had, I don't think I've ever had a relationship under like 3 years. But I have a knack. I have a knack. I always think that I want to get together with someone that's totally different. I'm like, next time. But you have that stupid attraction that you get in that cycle where it's out of habit, and breaking habits, that's a tough task sometimes. That's why I feel bad for addicts. Breaking that habit is freaking difficult. Again, like I discussed the other day, especially if it's gambling or alcohol, because both of those things are readily available and people are surrounded by alcohol and keno machines and lottery tickets. It's not like heroin is on a shelf. It's not like cocaine is on a shelf. There's not commercials about heroin and cocaine. I feel bad for addicts. I don't know. But there's something liberating when you make a good decision, a decision that is healthy. What if you're moving and you want to move to a different state, different city, whatever, and you're just looking for a new adventure, a new experience, a new job. Maybe you started a new relationship. It's exciting when you've just made a decision that is going to be good for your life. And it sucks when you keep making poor decisions. That's equally, it's crappy. So to all of those people out there that keep doing the same thing over and over and then wondering why their life sucks or why they aren't, happy, or why they're stuck in a rut, it's because don't do what I do and keep doing the same things, expecting different results, Shake it up a little. Shake it up. And if you're in a bad relationship, I know people say this all the time, leave. And it's like, oh, duh, I already know that. Like everybody knows that they need to get out. It's just the actual doing it, because maybe you are in a relationship that the person is so controlling, maybe they would try to hurt you. So just make sure, of course, you take proper precautions, Make sure you get the police involved. Make sure you have a plan to stay with someone that's safe and that they don't know where that person is, or where that person's home is. But it is hard. But please, I urge all of you that are in unhealthy relationships, you got to get out, even if it's difficult. First step is just ripping it off like a Band-Aid and doing it, and everything else will fall into place. It may be hard. It may be difficult for a million reasons, but eventually you get through it. If you're going through hell, keep on moving. Don't look back. Okay, sorry. Because you might as well. I forgot the words, and plus, like I said, I sing like Cameron Diaz in the karaoke scene on my best friend's wedding. Ugh, dying cow. That's what I sound like. But anyway, those are things that have been keeping me up. The whole relationship thing. And yeah. And the fact that I'm grateful and appreciative to every single person out there that has been tuning in. Like I said, hey, shout out to Russia, Norway, Sweden, Finland, and Turid. Hey, Turid, if you're the one listening in Finland, hello, I love you, you beautiful, beautiful goddess. I love you if it is you. If it's not you, I'm sure you are a beautiful human as well. I appreciate everybody from every country, from every walk of life. I don't care what you look like. I don't care what your background is. As long as you're not a douche lord, I accept you. And thank you for accepting this podcast and taking it in as your own. Tell everybody, tell a friend, tell a coworker, tell a family member. Maybe they'll like my rambling as well. So thank you so much for listening, and until next time.